Hi everybody, my name is Mark Oliver and I'm a program coordinator at the Metropolitan Family Service Department of Financial Capabilities. I'm here to talk to you a little bit about the Equifax data breach that was announced last week on September 8th and give some agency recommendations for protecting yourself and your consumer data from identity theft issues. The United States has three major companies that accumulate and distribute information on the use of credit by U.S. consumers. Last Thursday, September 8th, one of those companies, called Equifax, announced that unidentified parties had accessed key pieces of information from 143 million people in the U.S. between the months of May 2017 and July 29, 2017. That information included crucial pieces of identifying data, like names and dates of birth and social security numbers and addresses, and in some cases driver's license information. And in addition, about 200,000 consumers had credit card numbers and account numbers that were accessed, and another 180,000 people had documents related to disputes, credit disputes, with a lot of personal identifying information in them that were accessed. So all told, it was a pretty sizable amount of data that was revealed. Data breaches like this have happened several times in the last 5 years, both at Equifax as well as the other two credit bureaus, TransUnion and Experian. This is the third time a major cybersecurity breach has occurred at Equifax since 2015. But in terms of its sheer scope, this breach is far more significant than most, and it represents a pretty serious threat to the financial security of about half the households in the United States. So we're distributing this information to kind of give you some step-by-step pointers and ways to protect yourself. Recommendation number one, first and foremost, is that we would like to stress the importance of regularly reviewing your credit report from all three credit bureaus and looking for suspicious activity, inaccurate information, what have you. You can do this one time per year from each of the three credit bureaus for free on a website that's called annualcreditreport.com. Or you could actually work with our Consumer Financial Protection Bureau financial coach, whose name is Alex Shokrian. He can be reached at 503-232-0007, extension 150. To make an appointment with him, he could help you get your credit report as well. Recommendation number two is that you should file your taxes as early as possible next year before a thief can do so. The reason is that the data that was compromised at Equifax could be used to file a fraudulent tax return, in which case somebody could do that and then claim a refund if you took too much time in filing your own tax return. Third recommendation is that you monitor your statements, account statements, for any suspicious activity, whether it's online or in the monthly mailed statements, for bank accounts, for credit cards, any credit. Just to make sure all charges are things that you've initiated. Recommendation number four is that you should check to see if you were exposed in this incident. Equifax has opened a website where you can check to see if they believe that your information was exposed, and that is www.equifaxsecurity2017.com. In order to use this, you're going to have to enter your last name and the last 6 digits of your social security number. While you're doing so, you should make sure that you're on a secure network and not public Wi-Fi, for example, because that's very sensitive information to be transmitting. But once you've entered that information, you can check, and Equifax will let you know if your information has been compromised. If they believe that that's the case, you'll be directed to sign up for something called Trusted ID Premier, which is Equifax's credit monitoring service, which is normally something that's available for sale, but they're making it available for free to all people affected or not affected by this breach, in their opinion. So anybody can sign up for this for 12 months for free. Now, at this point, we don't know what happens after 12 months, but yesterday the Senate Financial Services Committee, the leadership of that committee, wrote to Equifax and asked that they let people know what's going to happen, and they gave them a deadline of September 28th to reveal that information. So at that point, within a couple weeks, we're going to know how they handle the end of the 12 months. But my recommendation would be to put a calendar reminder on your personal calendar for a year out, and just remind yourself that you've signed up for this thing, and look to see if Equifax is charging you $16.95 a month or something for something called Trusted ID Premier. The fifth recommendation is that you should never use a debit card when you're making purchases online. Credit cards have stronger legal protections for online purchases, but those specifically, since it's not tied to money in a bank account, that's a protection. And also, you will have the legal right to dispute any illegitimate charges immediately, which is not the case if you're using a debit card. So it's a way of protecting yourself, shielding your money from theft. Recommendation number 6 is, if your credit information has been compromised, ask the 3 credit bureaus to place a free fraud alert on your credit report file. This is something that you'll have to renew every 90 days, but it's fairly simple to do so at the Experian website. You can just basically log in, confirm your ID, and it will require anybody who's issuing credit in your name to contact you directly with a preset phone number. And this is a free charge. You can only have to do it with one credit bureau, and they will notify the other 2. So it's a pretty simple step to take, and the easiest website to use for that is the Experian website, Experian.com. A little bit less of a recommendation than it is an option, I'd say, because it's a pretty serious step. And it's called a security freeze, placing a security freeze on your credit report file. A security freeze costs $10 per credit bureau for Oregon residents, and it prevents new lenders from accessing your credit report at all. They really just can't do it. So it's a very serious step, and if you're using one of these, it may interfere with or delay or prohibit the timely approval of any request or application for credit, or for insurance, for employment background checks, new cell phone purchases. So it's a pretty serious step. You can unfreeze or thaw the accounts, but that also costs $10 per bureau in Oregon. So, and then you could block it up again. But each time you do this, you also have to do it in writing. You can't do it over the phone or an email or on a website. So, and you have to do it with all 3 credit bureaus. So it's quite a bit more laborious, and it's just a complete lockdown of your credit file. I would think about this one before you do it, especially if you're planning on taking out a loan sometime in the near future. The final recommendation that I would have is to take a look at the Federal Trade Commission website on identity theft issues, which is identitytheft.gov /data breach. They have some specific recommendations there. It's going to be a lot of the things I've just said, but there are also a lot more information about your rights and responsibilities as a consumer, and it will probably be very useful. So thank you all for watching. Again, my name is Mark, and I'm available here at MFS for questions, and we do have financial coaches on staff that can help you. Just give us a ring if that's something you'd like. All of the information that I've just discussed can be found in the description of this video. So you can see documents with especially links to the websites that I mentioned. A little bit easier to use that way.